trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. And realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Mossy Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomenon with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Mossy Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.
Going on, everybody? It's your boy Sean P in the place to be, man. Like this, share the show, tell a friend, we live. We're about to get to it. I just need to plug my laptop up. Here we go. The Shador. Hit the Shador. You know what I mean? You gotta hit the Shador. Anyway, man, like the show, share the show, tell a friend, we live, man. We're gonna get to it. So let me get my screen shared. And I'm gonna extend the show because I got more to talk about. It probably get a little bit messy, but I don't care. I don't care about none of that. What's good? I didn't share the show. So y'all do me a favor, y'all can share that mug. And I don't expect certain demographic to appear. And one of the reasons I don't expect that demographic to appear is because it's about them. And followers are not going to appear. Not over here. They're not going to appear over here. Yeah, they're going to get a little mess. We ain't taking it down and we ain't doing none of that. I don't care nothing about no crying, no boohoo, no none of that. Nah, I ain't got time for that. I'm going to be right back on Karimio and his pseudo. What the hell? And his pseudo judo. I'm going to be right back on Karimio, man. Probably Saturday. I have a show. Potentially. And that's going to deal with Shano people. And we go get into their origins. which brings me to an argument that I was having with Bobby Banga, otherwise known as Brother Unk. He and I was exchanging, a little dialogue back and forth, and I was telling him the threat of this whole Asiatic push, and he was trying to make an argument, the reason for his following other people's conclusions on deciding to F with the Asiatic, Afro-Asiatic language phylum, etc. Because there's a key intricate piece inside of that support him and his studies and where he is on evolution, etc. So I think that's one of the reasons that he yields that. But I asked him, I said, how did you come to the conclusion to reach the point that you reached with where you are with, the whole language phylum? And I didn't get an answer to that. It was deferred pretty much. But we still arguing out there. That's a little something me and got going on, you know what I'm saying, behind the scenes. So it ain't really no drama, and it's not gonna be no more drama. It ain't gonna be no cussing and dissing and you know what I mean, bitch hole motherfucker. It ain't gonna be none of that between he and I. We passed that. We just gonna leave it on the information, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no gonna be no our feelings getting in the way of anything. Ultimately, so but that don't spare his team. That don't spare his team at all. You know what I'm saying? So these dudes don't play well away from home. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Sheffin, Sosa, Ken, Cedric, they don't play well on the road. They are a home team. They're no different than the Aborigines. The Aboriginal community do not play well on the road. Name one incident, time, or place where Aboriginal or the people that I just named appear before us, right? Appear before us and play well on the road. You will never find that. I'm going to demonstrate that. But even before I do that, there was something significant that I wanted to add to this, but I'm going to save that for another discussion. And you know what? Nah, that ain't right. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it. Let me see if I can bring it up now. This is the perfect time. People still coming in the chat, and I'm just about to do something very interesting for everybody. So I'm gonna check first to see if y'all could hear the audio. You know what I'm saying? And let me pull the video over though. Let me change the template. Create design. We're gonna do a video. I can't let y'all see what I'm doing right now. Don't try this at home. They all at Smoke Show with the Buckaroo over there. Oh, Smoke Signal Live? You mean to tell me that y'all piled up on a Smoke Signal channel, bro? That dude don't even read. Oh, y'all tripping. Smoke Signal? We have resorted to participating in a smoke signal show. The same dude who got to pick his uncle up pretty soon because it's getting late. That smoke signal? Or y'all tripping? Yeah, man. Smoke. What has the community come to when you pile up the holler at smoke? All right, so let me bring this video over, and then y'all let me know if y'all can see this video. Hold up, let me pause it. Let me share my screen. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this.
Y'all never being nice and shit. The fact of the matter is, the damn community need to be split right down the damn middle. You got the suit.
Can y'all hear that? Okay, y'all can hear that. All right, so let me start it over. This video is a couple of years old. But we have now come to revisit this moment in history. We're back here.
Y'all never being nice and shit. The fact of the matter is, the damn community need to be split right down the damn middle. You got the pseudos on one end, do that shit properly. You got those dedicated to a method of science and technology that will always uplift black goddamn communities.
Pause. What do we have in the community again?
Y'all never be shit. The fact of the matter is, the damn community need to be split right down the damn middle. You got the pseudos on one end, label that shit properly. You got those dedicated to a method of science and technology that will always uplift black goddamn communities. Plain and simple, bro.
So there's a community of people who deal with science and technology that's bound to uplift the black people. Okay. Listen to him. I'm gonna let it play all the way through. He gonna go crazy.
Better being nice and shit. The fact of the matter is, the damn community need to be split right down the damn middle. You got the pseudos on one end, label that shit properly. You got those dedicated to a method of science and technology that will always uplift black goddamn communities. Plain and simple, bro. All great civilizations, at the foundation of what they did was damn STEM. Science, technology, engineering, math, and let's add art to the goddamn equation. These niggas over here, you gotta label that shit. You can never put CEOs in charge of any goddamn thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, this got better at what they did. But these niggas right here, they never succumb to technology. They teach that bullshit. So at the end of the day, all of a sudden, they gonna save the fucking community. No, we need to save the community from them. And they lying ass. They got cures from cancer. You know what I'm saying? All that. What about that? Where the hell is the tribunal at that's going to put them niggas up on charges that claim to have medicine for the community, but they hold it for their damn self? Curing AIDS, curing cancer, and that shit makes some damn shit. So the community need to be split because every place in the world splits science and pseudoisms. Pseudoisms, religion over here, science and technology over here, and we good. We need to label that shit what it is. Them niggas don't got no real information, bro. Trust me with that. But be the first niggas tried and tested because the conscious community is really about information. So now the community is splitting up. Damn right we splitting up. All right? At the end of the day, we want the real information that can help us fight the suppression that constantly follows us everywhere. That's what we're doing right now. So I don't care. So check it out. Let's do what all communities do in the world. Put the religion and pseudoisms over here. They label it. You can go to Barnes Nobles right now, Flight. You got a section that says what? Religion, right? Mythology, right? New Age spirituality. God, technology. Don't they? So niggas gonna label that shit. Them niggas teach pseudoisms. They got magic in a goddamn bottle, some bullshit, right? All right? Pseudoism, religious, crystals, chakras, all that shit. Put it over here, right? And we still love them. put the science in, right? And we do our thing. And that's how we're going to get along. But I could never join with pseudoisms because that's the most dangerous thing that any functional civilization can have. Pseudoisms is what put the European nations in the fucking Dark Ages. And not to the Arabs came with the African science that they got from the Greeks. They took them out the Dark Ages. The conscious community is in the Dark Age.
The conscious community is in the Dark Age. You just heard Unc say he would never align himself with pseudos. You just heard Brother Unc say that he would never align himself with pseudos. So we have Sheffrin, dear brother Sheffrin L. Bay. He loves the British. Did we not clip him up a couple of years ago with his infatuation about the British and Queen Nzinga and all of these other arguments that he put himself in and be absolutely wrong about? Pseudo. Brother Corey. He talked about body language. He said he can read body language. Pseudo. Sosa don't make outlandish claims. Sosa stays in a safe place so he won't get a label put on him. He just be disingenuous as hell at times and sarcastic in other places. So you can't really just box Sosa in because of, you know how to wiggle himself out of situations. He ain't gonna get too invested. And then you have Cedric. Now, I ain't one of the motivations behind all of this is because one of the dudes, when they was talking with Reggie and all of that, and I was listening, one of the dudes didn't know who I was. And he made a statement that said something along the lines of, how do I know that Reggie's being emotional? I'm not inside his head. How do I know that Reggie is being biased? Where's that coming from? He never knew that since 2017 going into 2018, leading up to the ASCAC conference in 2019, that Reggie was real emotional during those times, always have been, jealous, etc. So he gonna get some of this smoke too. Peace, peace, peace. What up, bro? What up, what up? What up to everybody in the chat, by the way, man? But nah, I had to play that video by Brother Unc because he's correct. Now, we done already split ourselves from the pseudos because we knew that they were the religious pseudo zealots. We knew that we could advance our community if we stay under the umbrella and have and mix with them. No. There was a line drawn, there was a war that was waged, and then there was this conscious community divide. Well, we've come to another era of potential division. And that division was spawned by Brother Cedric opening his mouth and saying things that he shouldn't say. Like I said before, the community of skeptics do not play well on the road. The community of skeptics only play well at home. They can control the narrative. They can be in their safe space. The same behavior as an abo, right? They'll stay and hide out in the chat, ask a bunch of questions, just keep questioning, never participating in the advancement of the information, just only questions. And then they'll rely and defer on someone else, never understanding how that someone else, quote unquote expert, reached the conclusion, or claiming to understand the data, which some of them will tell you that they don't. They don't lack too much integrity, but there's instances where they lack integrity. So this is not a smear campaign. But I am firing a shot at Cedric because he did this when we had the whole COVID thing going on, and he said some stuff in that thing, and we was on the panel, and he was trying to act like he actually had an up on something that he didn't, and he had talking about we were going into a cycle or we were going into a stage, or I forgot what it was off the top of my head, his exact words, but he talked about we was turning the corner in the pandemic, which we hadn't even reached the point of turning the corner in the pandemic. But and then some other stuff. But we're gonna get to it. All right, so why we here today? So hopefully you can see this on the full screen. I was reviewing a YouTube discussion in on Trimedia's channel. They were discussing ChatGPT and its use. This is a tool that is often used by the community of skeptics, or the officially known as the pseudo killers. And we see Sheffrin use it and rely on this tool, even in its blemishes and admitted guilt, and even failing the bar in other instances. ChatGPT seems to reign supreme as God to them. Okay, now a member of the community of skeptics, formerly known as Cedric, right, explained his take and argument and elaborated on a few other things. However, Cedric says something I found quite interesting. The reason for this show is to put his claim on scrutiny to advance the argument of who in this community is really doing research. By the way, we haven't seen any published articles, no journal entries of any kind. I don't even care if you made up a journal. No books, no presentations, no lectures, just banter and opinion-based information from this brother. He hasn't added anything in the discussion. Right? So let's move on. So my methodology, of course, I would like to provide everybody my methodology. I don't care if you want to look at it or review or call into question, whatever it is, but basically it's simple. I didn't want to make it extraneous, and I don't want to dilute anything. I wanted to get right to the point so it doesn't go over people's heads. We will review a series of sources from academic settings to properly understand research. These sources have already been reviewed by me. They have been reviewed by me in the past. The reason that they have been reviewed by me in the past is because I've done other shows regarding research and research methodology. Because research methodology is the biggest tool that we have at our discretion in any of these conversations that we're having in the community. Without no methodology, you can't reach an honest conclusion. Therefore, your research questions are called into play. Your tools that was used to come to your conclusion are called into play. And then you could just basically be making up a bunch of horse crap if you ain't got the related data to support your entire argument. So we'll review these previous articles, books, and arguments provided by either the Mossy Warrior Clan or Kofi Pi-Psi research team to uncover whether research is being done. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to use my own example, right? I might even open the book of What SARS-CoV-2 Taught Me. We can see if this is research or regurgitation. Even just in the title of the book, it should let you know that it's some type of research had to transpire. But hey, I don't know anything. What up, Nada-C? So again, today we'll evaluate Cedric's claim from the community of skeptics, aka pseudo killers. Is this community as a whole not doing real research and just regurgitating other people's information? Are we not advancing the subject matter or participating in the field of science? Right? Those are also research questions, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'm going to give you my hypothesis, the claim, define the research, tools of research, conclusion. I'm not going to give you my conclusion up front. All my sources are in the description. So I put that here for a reason so that people that are viewing this can see. As you can see, this is only 8 slides. So most of my argument is going to transition into the sources in the description as I have them up. So here's my hypothesis. I believe that Cedric misspoke. About 60% of me believe that he just misspoke. Not only did he misspeak, but he was also searching for another word, and he stood on what he did. His motive is driven by his inability to argue over what is or is not scholarly work produced and discussed by Asar Imhotep. That's one of the emphases, right? Because he mentions this in the video. But Cedric also, I believe, assumes he is the only qualified person in many of the discussions he has had with people he seems to think is incompetent enough to do research. Okay? So let's review Cedric's argument here.
Go ahead, Sir.
I appreciate that line.
Now, we're going to review his argument all the way through. Once. And then I'm going to stop in some instances to make sure you digested what's going on. Now, Brother Thurman, who was in the chat right now, he was live, he was in the chat when this conversation transpired. So he's on the show with our brothers, they're building up a channel. You know what I'm saying? They're having some good conversations. It is what it is. You want to go support them. Like I said before, they get into it over there.
And of questioning, because it highlights the fallacy and the straw man that has been taking place over the last couple of days.
All right, so real quick, I'm gonna start it over. Okay, I need to start it over so that y'all can hear it from the beginning. Okay, if you let me. But he's already stated that there was a straw man. I'm in the chat going crazy at this point because what the fuck does that got to do with this whole, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even recognize a straw man. But let's go. Let me see if it'll let me go back.
Make this analogy quickly for a second. You have a Boeing 747, which is an aircraft, which is a tool. It takes you from place to place. But to fly it, you need to be a pilot. To understand how to use that tool efficiently, you need to have the background training. What I'm saying is, ChatGPT summarizes it. It provides you with a easier flow of information that you supposed to already know. Let's get there. So
say that again. Say that from me, sir.
It summarizes, it formulates, it puts together information that you already know. So how it has been used, especially by the PK, is a verifying tool of everything we just said.
Okay.
That's it. That's the only way you use ChatGPT. Now, in my professional setting, for example, when I do not want to think of how the big formula is done again, I'll ask ChatGPT. When I see it, I go, yeah, that's it. So I'm not asking to do my work for me. What I'm asking it to do is summarize that or formulate this letter for me. And sometimes I say, no, I don't know. No, that's not professional enough. Come on, give me some more input on this particular point. I already, I'm versed in the information that I'm requesting it to summarize. It's a tool. That's it. Now, what ChatGPT highlighted is the fallacy that we've been talking about. Research. Research. We use this word in this community very loosely. Nobody around here does research. We go in and we dig up data. we compile it and regurgitate the work that's already been done. Research has been done by people who are producing new information. That's usually at the PhD level. Let's get serious. Outside of that, it's all conversation. I don't joke this stuff. Maybe because of the very specific and very tight scientific field that I come from, which is biochemistry, I don't play with these terms, with the level of work that you have to put to reach these level of degrees. To use the word research, I did research. When I was doing my internship, I developed a staining for the COX-2 protein in the gut, which is an indicator of colon cancer.
Okay.
It's a research project. And that little bitty project was part of a whole major grant outside of me. So that little piece of work that I did was part of a whole bigger project. I wrote my analysis, I wrote my summary, and I presented it. Boom. That's part of earning your degree. That isn't what you quote unquote research. It was a little piece in a whole bigger research project. Different departments and different things. And I had that little section. So I understand.
So I want to give you. Go ahead, sir. Now I'm going to jump in when you're done. Go ahead.
Right? Nobody around here can talk about doing research, quote unquote, with ChatGPT. What did they talk about? Primary evidence in the field, hypothesis based on the information that is there, and the work necessary to verify your hypothesis, which adds to the body of knowledge on a particular subject. We're not talking about ChatGPT. So when these people jump up because of us using ChatGPT to verify what we said in contention to their position, that's not research. That's established information that we're verifying. It's a sort of using wiki.
So before this closes out, he literally just said, right, that they are using ChatGPT to summarize information in support of or against something. We're gonna get back to that because he done right here at this point.
Serious.
All right. I think,
So you're saying. So wait. I want to say one thing. So are you saying that ChatGPT is the equivalent of an upgrade to Wikipedia?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, so let's clean some of that up. Like,
Here we go.
All right, so let me go. We heard him. Okay, we heard him. Now let's slow him down.
So go ahead, Sarah.
I appreciate that line of questioning because it highlights the fallacy and the straw man that has been taking place over the last couple of days. To make this analogy quickly for a second. You have a Boeing 747, which is an aircraft, which is a tool. It takes you from place to place. But to fly it, you need to be a pilot. To understand how to use that tool efficiently, you need to have the background training. What I'm saying is, ChatGPT summarizes it. It provides you with a easier flow of information that you're supposed to already know.
So if ChatGPT is supposed to summarize information that you already know, why the hell is Sheffrin using this on live shows to argue and literally debate people and question people about the meaning of the place name Kemet, etc., any other topic? Why? If it's supposed to summarize something that you already know. Why are you using it in conjunction with an argument? As a matter of fact, why are you using ChatGPT against Asar, who you claim is not a linguist, he's not an expert, that you claim that he ain't doing research, all this other stuff. Why are you using ChatGPT? You're not a linguist. You don't understand linguistics. You don't understand linguistic methodology. You don't know how conclusions are reached in linguistics. So why are you trying to use a summary of something that ain't even quite up to par to argue with Asar? Make it make sense to me. Because you just said that you're supposed to already know something, but you motherfuckers, like I said before, are using this just like Smash pseudo ass is with the TLA. What up, Matthew Craig? You ain't on your grocery run? Yes, I told you before, Michael Easton. Absolutely. Sheffrin is a cold barber. He ain't just a barber, though. I'm not subjecting him to just being a barber. Sheffrin is a musician. That's what people really don't know about Sheffrin. Sheffrin not only is a barber, that mofo is a musician. He might not can sing, but he can probably produce really good R&B music, etc. if he wanted to. Like the brother can fuck with them. I don't know if he can play the drums, but I know he can work that guitar, right? And there's other instruments, piano. He's on the piano. Like those are things that people don't know about Sheffrin, right? But can he learn some things in this community and be quote unquote learned enough to be able to argue and critique certain things? Absolutely, because he's not dumb. He's not dumb at all, right? But he's just, when it comes to scholarship, they're lazy. And I'm not just putting it on him, I'm putting it on all of it, lazy. But we just heard him say the purpose of ChatGPT for them, because he's like, once again, he is not home. He is on the road. He is on a Try Media. That's why I didn't show the video clipping of the whole thing that I showed on the previous screen. I wanted to show people whose YouTube page this was. It's Try Media. Go subscribe. New channel. Up and coming. And I said this in the chat. I was like, yo, bro, y'all use ChatGPT for everything. But here's Cedric telling us. Say it again, Cedric.
Efficiently, you need to have the background training. What I'm saying is, ChatGPT summarizes it. It provides you with a easier flow of information that you're supposed to already know.
So they don't know the information. So when they use ChatGPT again, they don't know the information. I told Unc this. I said, yo, your team don't play well on the road. They only play good at home. They just like the elbows. When they get outside, they are liable to F it all up for y'all. This is a clear example right here of them not playing well on the road and fumbling this entire conversation because you're in the middle of war with Smash, Reggie, and Asar M. Ka over the meaning of the word Kim and Kemet in Egypt. If the place name. Well, y'all having a multitude of arguments inside of one, but the gist of it was someone else's argument to advance the subject matter. And we'll come back to that because the reason we're here is because the brother said niggas ain't doing research. Well, you don't have a basically this discussion since 2019 has been the topic of discussions in the community. And that was proposed by Asar first before anybody else. So his hypothesis later on with Wujawu and Sajedi and them coming together and strengthening their argument and doing the work and deconstructing and rebuilding things up, that is research. But you said we ain't doing research. So let me play this little clip again.
Summarizes it. It provides you with a easier flow of information that you're supposed to already know.
He said it,
Itself. Go ahead.
He said it, You're supposed to already know the information. Why is Chat, Sosa, Cedric, and why are y'all using Chat GPT? You don't know the information already. You're doing the thunder. You're Googling yourself into an argument. Even with the limitations of AI, you're Googling yourself into an argument, trying to get a quick fix, a version of something real quick to combat someone else in an argument that you're not properly trained on. Sherry just told us that someone to fly a 757 Boeing would have to have proper training and tutelage to learn how to fly that plane. You just can't wake up out of the bed and be like, man, I'm gonna go fly the plane because you watched a YouTube video. He said you had to have the training. Only to double back say to use ChatGPT only to summarize some stuff that you already supposed to know. It's TLA, and it's a tool used that has to deal with ancient Egypt. But let's go. So let's get back to it.
It provides you with a easier flow of information that you're supposed to already know. Let's get there. So
say that again. Say that from me, sir.
It summarizes, it formulates, it puts together information that you already know. So how it has been used, especially by the people.
He finna explain how they use it. They don't know shit about the meaning of the place named Kemet. They don't know shit about goddamn astrophysics. They don't know a multitude of shit. But there is a multitude of things that they also do know. And I'm not going to strip them of that. Right? Because they all have an interest, and they have different interests and things in the field of study that pique their interest. And someone can elaborate on that versus others. Right? But when it comes to Africa, listen to me when I say this very closely. And if it may sound disrespectful, I don't apologize. Who over there knows shit about Africa? I'm talking language, culture, history. Who over there? Just let me know. Who? Remove Unc Keke, Bobby Bell from the discussion. Remove them. You can't use Unc. You got to use Sosa, Sheffrin, Corey, Cedric, and the other two dudes that don't know their names. Who? Tell me. What about African American history? Right here on our feet. Who? Come on now. It's several of y'all in this chat. None of y'all could be drawing a blank like this. Who? And I got the chat on playback. Who? I'm asking a question. Who, if you take Unc away, who over there can teach you about African history, culture, languages, etc.? Who? Come on, man. Answer the question for me. And when it comes to African American history, culture, etc., who? Help me. But they pose great arguments, very entertaining. They're not all stupid or dumb or slow. That's not what I'm insinuating. They will try to find themselves in an argument, but they're handicapped in certain areas. So when they rely on a tool that's supposed to summarize some things and let them know, jog their memory, so that this is supposed to be something that they already know, it's not something that they already know. ChatGPT is giving them something to argue against whoever the opposing opponent is in said discussion. Hence, when the best thing that they did was when Wujawu and Azar was silent, was to try to go find experts that dealt with Egyptology to argue against Smash. So now they put Smash up against the experts, and when Smash tried to go find him some experts to agree, hits a brick wall because none of those experts are going to agree with the phony ass conclusion that he comes up with in his argument. Take Juju out of it. I gave y'all the people. Why is y'all naming Juju? She ain't got nothing to do with this. I don't care if she a member of them or not. They ain't got nothing to do with that. No woman that's involved with anyone over there, they ain't got nothing to do with this. Cedric said you're supposed to already know this stuff before you use ChatGPT. So you're just going to cross-reference and verify what you already know. I've already done the investigation, right? I've already asked the right questions to the right people so that I can understand why they use ChatGPT. But here is Cedric, and Cedric just told us. Did y'all not hear Cedric?
ChatGPT summarizes it. It provides you with a easier flow of information that you're supposed to already know.
So you're supposed to already know this information, and you ain't got it. When keeping it real goes wrong, you remove Unc. What do you have? I told you they don't play well on the road. That's why we don't see presentations. And you know what I'm saying? I think we seen one for Chevron. I'm Kevin. I think we did see like a presentation, something like Chevron. You know what I'm saying? I was talking crazy one time, maybe a couple years ago. He said F me and ended up doing a presentation. And I appreciated him that. But you don't have Cedric, the one sitting here telling us, right? He said no one else in the community is doing real research. Then he told you what he had to do. See, when I slow it down, now y'all understanding what this is about. So now I can go into teaching mode. Now I can go into teaching mode. We have arrived at a point to where we're ready to advance the conversation and see who's doing real research. Because we just heard from Cedric. Cedric told us that they only use ChatGPT to summarize things in a more astute way of a summary of stuff they already know. But then if you compare that with their arguments, these are things that they already don't know. So I'm going to hear a little bit more, Cedric, and then I'm going to get into the teaching moment.
Let's get there. So
say that again. Say that from me, sir.
It summarizes, it formulates, it puts together information that you already know. So how it has been used, especially by the PK, is a verifying tool of everything we just said.
He said that ChatGPT is a verifying tool of everything that he just said. So he said that they use ChatGPT to verify things they already know, and we know goddamn well that it's a lot of shit that they be talking about that they don't know shit about until they goddamn and use ChatGPT. Now Cedric has made a claim, 2 claims. One, his first claim was that nobody in the community is doing research. You're regurgitating. The second claim is that he claimed that they only use ChatGPT because they're verifying things that they already know. And we can go over there and look at show after show after show after show after show and come to a conclusion, an honest conclusion, and say they didn't know this shit before they pulled up ChatGPT. So what the hell is he talking about right here? Nonsense. In the good words of dear brother Unc, bananas. Bananas.
Okay, that's it. That's the only way you use ChatGPT. Now, in my professional setting, for example, when I do not want to think of how that quick formula.
In his professional, now listen, they only use ChatGPT to verify shit they already know. But they're talking about things that they don't already know. We have examples of all of that, and I'm willing to share those examples. And I can take you all the way back to when we started arguing, when me and Unc started arguing over stuff. You know why I can take you all the way? Because I got the videos on the channel. We ain't take no videos down. The video's still up. Him calling me all kind of names, me calling him all names, the whole head clash. We still got the videos up. But we have to put it in proper context, because now he finna tell me in his field, in his expert field, he used ChatGPT to help him remember some stuff he already learned. Come on, Cedric, tell me. You're an expert, right? You are expert. Come on. Tell me.
Example, when I do not want to think of how that quick formula is done again, I'll ask ChatGPT. When I see it, I go, yeah, that's it. So I'm not asking it to do my work for me. What I'm asking it to do is summarize that, or put this, formulate this letter for me. And sometimes I say, no, I don't know. No, that's not professional enough. Come on, give me some more input on this particular point. I already, I'm versed in the information that I'm requesting it to summarize. It's a tool.
That's a goddamn lie. You ain't versed in linguistics. You ain't versed in African history and culture. You ain't versed in African languages. You ain't versed in African American history and culture. You ain't versed in a multitude of other things. What you're versed in is where your expertise lies, Cedric. And I'm not taking your expertise away from you in biochemistry. I'm not taking that away from you. right? Like Dr. Ma'at is an engineer. Expertise is in engineering. They're not inside of everything that we discuss in this community unless we're dealing with things that she can answer from her expert field of knowledge that she obtained through her studies. It's not no disrespect. Like Taka Kilimanjaro, statistical analysis and data. When it comes to statistics, there's no better expert in our community than Taka. He formulated he wrote a whole book about this stuff. And he used the black people's experience in America dealing with automation as an argument. Box squared. It's in the book. It's over 1,000 pages. Cover to cover read it. So that's how I know the argument. But I'm not going to go to him when I'm trying to prove the validity of the Olmec not being freaking black people. He still have a belief. And some other conspiracies he's tied to. That's neither here nor there. Let's move on.
That's it. Now, what ChatGPT highlighted is the fallacy that we've been talking about. Research. Research. We use this word in this community very loosely. Nobody around here does research. We go in and we dig up the data, we compile it, and we regurgitate the work that's already been done. Research has been done by people who are producing new information.
So research is only done by people who are producing new information. So ladies and gentlemen, at this point, he just admitted that Asar, Wujawu, and Sajedi done research. At this point, because before Asar, Wujawu, and Sajedi, there was no conversation over the meaning of the place name Kemet in the community. There was none. This is new to more people than not. He just admitted who's doing research. And no, Kimberly, it's not a fair statement, and we're going to get into it. I told Unc after he made this statement, I was clipping it. I told my brother in the chat, I told Tri Media in the chat, I said, I'm clipping it, I'm clipping it, I'm clipping it, I got it. I didn't even listen to the next 5 minutes of the 5 minutes and 8 seconds of the show because I stopped the video, rewound it to where he begins to talk, and clipped it immediately. So he can't get away from this. They don't play well on the road. Oh, what a tangly web we weave when we practice to deceive. Cedric is now in the web. He didn't put Sosa there unbeknowingly. He didn't put Sheffrin there by making these statements. He didn't put Corey been there. So they tangled up in the web the whole time. And the one person that ain't in the web is outside. Ain't saying nothing right now about none of that other stuff. He having a whole nother argument. We removed him. Hold on one second. Before I get back to the video, let me address this real quick. I bet you Unc ain't saying this. Did Unc say this? That you don't have to read books to form an opinion? Is that what Unc did Unc say this? Who said it? Because I know y'all watch the show. I don't watch all the shows. But who said this statement right here? It wasn't Unc. Nah, not Unc. Nah, you lying, bro. No, it wasn't. He ain't say that. Clip it, and bring it back. I don't believe nothing. Clip it and send it to me. Clip it and send it to me. Ain't no way, not Unc. No, Unc is a proponent of reading books. Not Unc. Nah, you ain't finna get me to believe that, bro. We'll find the video, clip it. And I guarantee you, he probably saying that. I guarantee you, he's only saying that about a saw work. I bet you $50 he's saying it about a saw work. If you find a video, it's gonna have something to do with a saw or Emboli. And that's gonna show you that he's being biased right there, because you can never form an opinion, right? You can never form an opinion about a book until you read it. If Satep Ra, which I know he's listening, but he might be driving. If my dear brother Satep Ra was here right now, he would if he was able to chat, he would comment in the chat right now exactly what he told me when I came out and I said, man, that book, I said something about somebody presenting something or showing something, and I said it was some bullshit. I ain't read it. And then he turned around and said, bro, how you gonna say what it is if you ain't even read it? How you gonna deal with it if you ain't even familiar with it? How you gonna understand and critique it if you ain't even broke it down? He said, man, you know we don't rock like that, bro. We gotta go in there, we gotta read the opposing views on every argument. This in our back chat. Like all of us. Listen, from June to Kofi, to Satep Ra, to me, to Antoine, Damo, Emiket, Jehudi. I think I'm missing somebody. I ain't named Wujawu. But all 8 of us, there was a stressful point for all of us that are a part of the session. It was to make sure that if we argue with anybody online for any reason whatsoever, that we read their works and opposing views. You could not argue with someone if you ain't read their arguments. So if they published an article, if they published something in a journal, if they wrote a book, you needed to cop the book to be able to deconstruct it and put it on a level playing field, and then extract the claims and deal with the claims point for point methodically. That was a standard that everybody in the session had to uphold and keep. Whether we in a session or we left the session, which ain't nobody left, but whatever the case may be, we had to demonstrate that. So those of us who are affiliated with other groups, right, like Jehudi and BK, me with the Masi and Kofi Paisai, Kofi with Kofi Paisai and the Masi, on and on. Sutek, we got him on TikTok with our brothers in Port City and the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, we took what we learned in that back chatting in secrecy, and we continue to demonstrate that to the public. That's the code. So if that was said, I don't know. I don't need you to post them in here. Send them to me on Facebook. You got my Facebook, Mike. We friends on Facebook, I think. But let's continue real quick so I can get into the teaching moment. And then, you know what I'm saying? I think Wujawu might be live or something like that.
That's usually at the PhD level. Let's get serious. Outside of that, it's all conversation.
All right, so let's go back.
I'm pilot, and we regurgitate the work that's always talking about. Research. Research We use this word in this community very loosely. Nobody around here does research. We go in and we dig up the data, we compile it, and we regurgitate the work that's already been done. Research is being done by people who are producing new information. That's usually at the PhD level. Let's get serious. Outside of that, it's all conversation. I don't joke with this stuff. Maybe because of the very specific and very tight scientific field that I come from, which is biochemistry, I don't play with these terms, with the level of work that you have to put in to reach to these level of degrees.
All right, so you just heard him about that. Ain't nobody doing no research. They're only regurgitating, and ain't nobody advancing the field. Only experts can do that, and all the other limitations. You heard him. He said it, and he says he takes it serious, right? Everything he just said, soak that up and follow me. Follow me. He said nobody doing real research. So how do the federal regulations define research? Research is a systemic investigation including development, testing, and evaluation designed to develop or contribute to generalizable knowledge. Let's break this down. A systemic investigation involves a methodological procedure and plan, is theoretically grounded, and specifies a focus in what defined research problem or question, is informed by the empirical findings of others, is analytically robust, and provides a detailed and complete description of data collection methods. Generalizable knowledge is information that is expected to expand the knowledge base of scientific discipline or other scholarly field of study and yield one or both of the following. Dun, 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 dun. Results that are applicable to a larger population beyond the site of data collection or the specific subjects studied. Dun, 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 dun. Results that are intended to be used to develop, test, or support theories, principles, and statements of relationships, or to inform policies beyond the study. Dun, 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 dun. Note that publications or other disseminations of findings does not in and of itself make the activity research. It has been a long-standing myth that if you publish, IRB review is required. Dun, 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 dun. So what isn't generalizable? A quality assurance, quality improvement, organizational effectiveness study where the intent is to assess, improve, or develop programs or services for an organization. Outcomes will remain to organization programs or services, although other organizations may use the results for their own programs. An oral history or journalistic piece. These are published materials that are limited to only documenting or reporting on events, situations, policies, institutions, or systems without the intent to form hypotheses, draw conclusions, or generalize findings. It will not involve stories that will or may draw broader conclusions above the population, cultures, norms, and practices. A note about class educational research and activities. Class projects and research methods classes may involve data collection activities for training purposes that do not require IRB review and oversight because an intent to teach methods, not to contribute to generalizable knowledge. The intent of other class projects may be to provide the student with real-world experiences, information gathering techniques, and report writing. However, when the primary focus and initial intent of the class activities are to collect data to be used by students and other researchers beyond the classroom, thereby contributing to generalizable knowledge, IRB review may be needed. A note about student internship. I ain't even got to read that to you, but we got a basis there. So let's move on to our next one. It's going to sound pretty familiar, but I do this for real reasons. Federal regulations define research as a systemic investigation, including development, testing, and evaluation designed to develop or contribute to generalizable knowledge. As described in the Belmont Report, the term research designates an activity designed to test a hypothesis or answer a research question. One more time for Cedric. The term research designates an activity designed to test a hypothesis or answer a research question or questions and permit conclusions to be drawn. Research is usually described in a formal protocol that sets forth an objective and a set of procedures to reach that objective. Research generally does not include operational activities such as defined practice activities in public, health, medicine, psychology, social work. Okay? However, some of these activities may include or constitute research in circumstances where there is a clear intent to contribute to generalizable knowledge. This is where he fails again. So people ain't doing research, Cedric, or y'all ain't doing research over there. I told Unc he got to get away from them lazy mofos. Researchers are responsible for obtaining, listen to this. Listen to this. Researchers are responsible for obtaining appropriate approval before conducting research involving human subjects. This is on humans. The need for approval rests on three seemingly obvious, but not always easy to interpret considerations. On when it comes to human subjects, I had to add this in here. Right? Whether they work and qualifies as research, whether it involves human subjects, and whether it is exempt. All three considerations are discussed in the common rule and guide decisions making about the use of human subjects in research. The authority make decisions about the need of approval rests with the Institutional Review Board. That's who the IRB is. All right. So research, the common rule defines research as systemic investigation, including research development, testing, and evaluation designed to develop or contribute. Whether you're developing or contributing to generalizable knowledge, that's research. This means that a project or study is research if it is conducted with the intentions of drawing conclusions that have some general applicability and uses of commonly accepted scientific method. So, who's doing research? The random collection of information about individuals that have no general applicability is not research. Scientific investigations that lead to generalizable knowledge is. So, real quick, when I argue with abos, that's when they provide an argument to us, ladies and gentlemen, that's not research, because they never draw a conclusion. They never even provide you with the evidence to support their hypothesis. They argue from the state of an hypothesis on they straight up guess belief. They argue it as if it's the conclusion. They ain't tested nothing. They ain't collected no data, and they ain't presented the shit. They got the same source material that exists that they ain't reviewed or read, and then they just ultimately dismiss everything in the article to come up with their own conclusions that was never met by the article. That's not research. But when you investigate something and it leads to generalizable knowledge, which is applicable to advance the subject matter, that is considered research. There's a methodology behind it for it to be considered research. I'm gonna give you an example. Phoenix Moon said that Queen Nzinga was Portuguese or something like that. I forgot what she said. So, Kimberly in the chat, she goes and refutes the claim that Phoenix Moon says. She uses sourced information to refute Phoenix Moon. That was research. But people ain't doing research in this community. The fuck? So, research is a systemic and structured investigation that seeks to expand knowledge. That's why the fuck we're here. Some people ain't never heard some of the things that we've argued over ever. But we sit here and act like, oh, that doesn't exist. It does. There's new people coming into the community. That's why some of these arguments are so damn circular. And you're not reporting the information that needs to be in these new people's hands to them. Instead, they get led astray, sonnetters, and then they all over the place for the next few years until they find a Sedu or Masi, or even let alone fucking Unk. Let's just be real here. Research is a systemic and structured investigation that seeks to expand knowledge, uncover new insights, if applicable, and provide evidence-based understanding in various fields. I added if applicable. The reason that I said that is because if in the field of science, there's something called replicable data. Your ability to be able to test something and repeat everything that the original person done, but no one says that that's regurgitating. They just call it replicable data, right? They substantiate the data through testing. They went through this, they used the same methods as this person and came to the same conclusion. If they didn't come to the same conclusion, they're going to argue with that person on how they reached that conclusion and find out where they went wrong in what they did in this whole thing. And then there you go. You got a whole argument. Then you got to retract paper. And then we get rid of the bullshit that initially was out there. You've seen it during the whole pandemic. We're moving on. Research is a systemic and structured investigation that seeks to expand knowledge, uncover new insights, provide evidence-based understanding in various fields. It is vital. It is vital in advancing human understanding, addressing complex problems, and driving innovation. Research encompasses a wide range of methodologies, including empirical studies, experiments, surveys, and theoretical analysis conducted by research across academic, scientific, and professional domains. Pause. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're doing empirical studies, you're doing research. If you're doing experiments, you're doing research. If you're doing surveys, you're doing research and theoretical analysis. Okay? You could be conducted by researchers across all fields, academic, scientific, and professional domains. Professional domains is where a lot of our research would lie. We don't have to be experts to do research. Fucking twit. New discoveries are made through research theories and developed in testings, and practical solutions are generated. The impact of research is far-reaching, influencing advancements in technology, healthcare, sciences, environmental conversations, and more. It drives progress, informs policy decisions, and shapes the future by providing a solid foundation of reliable and verified knowledge. So, if we let Florida influence other states to get rid of Black history, slavery, from being taught in schools, right? We lose. But because of the amount of people that are autodidactically learning these methods, applying these methods in their field of studies to advance the conversation and keep slavery, the mentioning and teachings of slavery and Black history, etc., being taught in schools, that is a positive thing. What is research? We just learned it. Systemic and disciplined inquiry that aims to discover, interpret, and expand. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're studying a subject matter and you discover something in your studies, right, you interpret that what you learned and you expand it in the only thing you probably ain't did was expanded in that knowledge field of a specific study, but you're doing research. You could be expanding it in the community. Outside of the community, among the academics, you might not be expanding it. But if you wrote a sound enough argument, you could expand it, or you could enter it in the field of academics for review to be argued, because you want it to be scrutinized. There's a process of investigation that goes beyond mere observation or gathering of information. I don't just sit here and gather information. The first thing that I do is start collecting data. I observe, collect my data. Once I gather my information, I begin to formulate things and go through that whole process. Look at what it says. Research involves formulating research questions. Why am I doing this? I always provide y'all research questions in any presentation that I did, because I wanted you to let you know the intent and purpose and what my research is set out to answer the questions for. So when I come to my conclusion, it would go back to my initial research questions and how I arrived at my conclusion according to the data available. Research involves formulating research questions or hypotheses, designing methodologies, collecting and analyzing data, and drawing meaningful conclusions. The primary objective of research is to contribute to the existing body of knowledge by uncovering new insight, validating, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, so long to all of us who don't do no research. Research can contribute to an existing body of knowledge by uncovering new insights or validating existing theories. So these things was already proposed, and you went and did some research and it validated it. Or challenging prevailing assumptions. You want a prevailing assumption? Black people think they've been in America since before Columbus. That is a prevailing assumption. Even the academic world has acknowledged. Think about that. It is the driving by the pursuit of truth, accuracy, and evidence-based understanding. When this mofo told me that we ain't doing no real research and he's perturbed or disturbed by this in the community in the whole 9 yards, my brother, Cedric, because I don't want to cuss you out right now. Cedric, are you aware that that's all we've been doing on this side? That's all we've been doing on this side. So for you to sit over here and act the way that you acted outside yourself, you are completely nuts. This is why I say that you're completely nuts. Listen closely. Oh, yeah. Thank you for telling me that y'all couldn't hear the sound. Finally, I was thinking that y'all could hear the sound. But it just told me the connection was lost. No, ain't no sound. Wasn't no sound. But like I said before, this brings us back to this point. Let me know if you can hear it.
Y'all never being nice and shit. The fact of the matter is, the damn community need to be split right down the damn middle. You got the pseudos on one end, label that shit properly. You got those dedicated to a method of science and technology that always uplift black goddamn communities. Plain and simple, bro. All great civilizations at the foundation, what they did was damn science, technology, engineering, math, and let's add art to the goddamn equation. These niggas over here, you lay that shit. You can never put the pseudos in charge of any goddamn thing. I'm gonna tell you right.
Yeah, he took shots at Inky and Polite on the same show. In these words, Inky and Polite at the same time on the same show. But my point is this: Cedric don't know what the hell he's talking about. He is part of that group of people that we should put over there with the religious zealots and pseudos. He said we ain't doing research in this community. He is a fucking lie. So let's get into types of research. You have applied research, basic research, correlational research, descriptive research, ethnographic research, experimental research, exploratory research, grounded theory, historical research, phenomenological research, qualitative and quantitative research, which are two of the most practiced research types. So there's two that I want to deal with, right? Just to kind of smack Cedric in the face. I'm gonna go basic and then I'm gonna go historical, because if I go to these other ones, y'all ain't gonna catch what's being put down. So basic research, it is called a fundamental or pure research. It expands the person's knowledge. This type of research is not going to create or invent anything new. Instead, it is based on basic science investigations. For example, how did the universe begin? Or what are protons? See, this is why I said he had to misspeak, right? But just because basic research allows a person or persons or people, a group of people, to understand that even through basic research, you can expand knowledge of within yourself and others, because there's a listening audience out there. At the basic level, ladies and gentlemen. Historical research involving analysis of events that occurred in the remote or recent past. So when Cedric says that we're not doing research, right? How the hell are we not, Cedric? We don't live in Kemet 5,000 years ago. We don't live in Zimbabwe. We don't live in Ghana. We don't live in Senegambia. We don't live in any part of South Africa that you want to name. We're not in Rwanda. We're nowhere 5,000 years ago, let alone we're nowhere 600 years ago, because all of us ain't even old enough to fathom the goddamn transatlantic slave trade and what transpired, because our great-great-greats went through that situation. So when we go collect data, we get to research, and it involves analysis of events that occurred in the remote or in the past. Application understanding. This can add perspective on how we can examine the current situation. So when you say people ain't doing research, the hell we ain't. We arguing about history every goddamn day. Some people are doing basic level research. Some are doing primary research, where we're dealing with the actual primary sources. Not all the time, but in many of our arguments we are. Because sometimes when we're dealing with adbos, we don't never get a goddamn primary source from them. Because we already got the answers to the test.
We cheating. They just think that they in it. But this dude say people ain't doing no goddamn research. He's crazy. So, research again is how individuals and businesses collect and analyze data, accurate and relevant. Listen to what it says, individuals and businesses. Accurate and relevant research guides key business decisions, including marketing plans, staffing decisions, expansions, and critical data like environmental impacts, healthcare, and social characteristics. Determining what data is most useful for your goals and finding the most effective ways to obtain it can help your company make successful long-term decisions. In this article, we discuss 19 types of research and provide you with examples so you can choose the methodology that works best for your goals. It is the same stuff that we went through, the types of research in every field. Fundamental research. Here's an example of fundamental research because I don't want to read all that to you. A company studies how different product placement affect product sales. This study provides information and is knowledge based. Apply research is designed to identify solutions to specific problems. We ain't even dealing with that. Unless you're talking about what SARS-CoV-2 taught me. Action research refers to examining actions, assessing the effectiveness, and bringing about the desired outcome and choosing the course of action. Teachers do this. Casual research. I'm gonna give you this one. Also called explanatory research, seeks to determine cause and effect relationships between variables. It identifies how much one variable may cause and change in another. Casual research is important in evaluating current processes and procedures and determining if and how things change. If and how changes should take place. Classification seeks to identify and classify individual elements of a group or in larger groups. Comparative research identifies similarities and differences between two individual subjects or groups. Deductive research or theory testing. Research is the opposite of inductive research and moves from the broad to specific. Research is choosing a hypothesis and test its accuracy through experimentation and observation. Exploratory research examines what is also known about a topic and what additional information may be relevant. People would still be involved in Dr. York metaphysics if people weren't researching facts. This community has moved firmly into science and true history now, having to battle ignorant assumptions about both data. Field research. All right, so you know when Black Panther went to South Africa, right? He heard a lot about South Africa. We all did, you know. Those caves and Turkentine, and I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, y'all know what the hell I'm talking about. But field research occurs whenever the participants or subjects are or on location. This type of research requires on-site observation and collecting data. This means that you can go in your own state to an historical site and observe the site and collect data. That is field research. Many of us may go to museums and observe and collect data from museums dealing with primary sources at these museums. And then most of us could go to another place, right? We might travel outside of the country, or we might be within the Americas and we're doing something related to Black history or African American history in the Americas, and we go to these signature sites and do this reporting. That's research. So when you claim that people in the community are not doing research, what type of research are you saying they are not doing, Cedric? Because we got people that has done field research. They went to these historical sites for themselves. We got people that do basic research. We got people that do primary research. We got people in the labs. You in the lab. What are we talking about? So that's what I mean by misspoke. So I don't want to beat nobody upside the head, because my sources is just going to keep on piling on research and research methodology and the importance, and to demonstrate that, yes, we do in this community do research. And I've defined research so much and provided you with that. So now with research methodology, it is a structured and scientific approach used to collect, analyze, and interpret quantitative or qualitative data to answer research questions or test hypotheses. A research methodology is like a plane for carrying out research and helps keep researchers on track by limiting the scope of research. Several aspects must be considered before selecting an appropriate research methodology, such as research limitations and ethical concerns that may affect your research. A lot of people are biased. They already have this thing in the way that's preventing them from advancing their own knowledge on the subject matter. That will prevent and create limitations. I'm in a whole Facebook group that's called America's is a Negro Continent, and the people in that group have no methodology whatsoever. They post memes all day, and then when you post actual data, they just put a smiley face on the when they like the post, and then they just laugh because they can't fathom or digest or qualify the information and what it's saying. They have low comprehension. So when it comes to science and when it comes to studying, right, this is important. Replicability is obtaining consistent results across studies aimed at answering the same scientific question, each of which has obtained its own data. Two studies may be considered to have replicated if they can obtain consistent results given the level of uncertainty inherited in the system under study. I told y'all this earlier. Come on, man. So just to deliver a little bit more on this, when you're doing research, it is about reproducibility and replicability. So a research study is reproducible when the existing data is reanalyzed using the same research methods and yields the same results. This shows that the analysis was conducted fairly and correctly. A research study is replicable or repeatable when the entire research process is conducted again using the same methods but new data and still yields the same results. This shows that the results of the original study are reliable. This dude got us, boy. He tripping. Evidence-based research, series paper 1, what evidence-based research is and why is it important? I put this in the description so y'all can read it. I don't even want to get into this, but this was my little 1-2 for everybody in the back. But Cedric, your words have meaning. When you said that people in this community ain't doing research, you disqualified yourself, because every last person that I'm affiliated with, we do research. We follow proper research methodology, and we are always collecting data, and we get out in the field, and we touch these primary artifacts, and we transliterate and translate primary artifacts, and we come to honest conclusions driven by our data. Not by our opinion, not by some speculation, not by an assumption, not by just to one-up you just because you may not know anything. So again, when this is said, a new line in the community has to be drawn, because the community of skeptics, Cedric in the islands, has said no one in the community does research. And that would be a fallacy. That would be wrong. So the work that we're doing, Unc is describing. One more time. The work that we're doing is what Unc is describing. You don't believe me? Have you read what SARS-CoV-2 taught me? Have you even read the meaning of a place named Kemet? What about have you read the collection of essays in Chavis' book by a team of people? Huh? What about the other 30 books that Same Tree Different Branch has available to everybody? These are things to help you. The research is compiled and placed in these essays. A lot of the work has been done. All you got to do is use your eyes and your mind and read the text right before you. But again, the line has been drawn. Hold on. I know y'all can't hear Unc. It's all good. It's coming back on.
Started being nice and shit. Fact of the matter is, the damn community need to be split right down the damn middle. You got the pseudos on one end, label that shit properly. You got that to a method of science and technology that will always uplift black goddamn communities. Plain and simple, bro. All great civilizations at the foundation, what they did was damn STEM. Science, technology, engineering, math, and let's add art to goddamn equation. These niggas over here, you gotta label that shit. You can never put the pseudos in charge of any goddamn thing. I'm gonna tell you right now, this got better at what they did. But these niggas right here, they never succumb to science and technology. They teach that bullshit. So at the end of the day, all of a sudden, they gonna save the fucking community. No, we need to save the community from them. And they lying ass. They got some cancer, you know what I'm saying? All that. What about that? Where the hell is the tribunal at that's gonna put them niggas up on charges that claim to have in the community, but they holding for their damn self? Curing AIDS, curing cancer, and that shit makes some damn shit. Community need to be split. Because every place in the world splits science and pseudoism. Pseudoism, religion over here, technology over here, and we good. We need to label that shit what it is. Them niggas don't got no real information, bro. Trust me with that. But the first niggas tried and tested because the conscious community is really about information. So now, all of a sudden, the community is splitting up. And right splitting up. All right? At the end of the day, we want the real information that can help us fight the suppression that constantly follows us everywhere. What we doing right now. So I don't care. So check it out. Let's do what all communities do in the world. Put the religionists and Hinduism's over here. They label it. You can go to Bob's Nobles right now for like, you got a section that says what? Religion, right? Mythology, right? New Age spirituality. Technology, don't they? So now we're gonna label that shit. Them niggas teach with. They got magic in a goddamn bottle, some bullshit, right? All right, pseudoisms, religious, crystals, shot, all that shit. Put it over here, right? And we still love them. Put the science over here, right? And we do our thing. And that's how we get along. But I could never join with pseudoisms because that's the most dangerous thing that any functioning civilization can have. Pseudoisms is what put the European nations in the fucking dark ages. And not till the Arabs came with the African science that they got from the Greeks, they took them out the dark ages. The conscious community is in the dark age.
You heard them. We are back in the dark age again because of Cedric saying we don't do no goddamn research. I couldn't believe this. So let me reshare my screen. My bad. Let me reshare my screen. All right, so y'all should still be able to see this. I'm trying to let it come up on the screen. Yeah, y'all can see it. Okay. If I hit play, that's Cedric in the dumb video again. But here's my conclusion. So, based on the information provided and reviewed by academic resources, we can conclude that the Mossy Warrior Clan and Kofi Pieside TV do indeed, and others, the SESU, I just didn't want to put everybody in there, but do indeed meet the criteria for participating in research and advancing information. I just want to keep it short and sweet. According to the evidence, how research methodology is utilized, how they define research, how to participate in the research methods and the types of research that is required. We do that. We do field research. We don't mind looking at primaries. We deal with primaries because we know that there are some secondary sources out there, and most of the secondary sources we have in written literature by some elders that we hold on a higher plane, and others that have participated in the furthering and the advancing of information in our community, and others, right? So according to how research is designed, Brother Cedric was just incorrect. It's incorrect. So listen, Brother Wujawu is live. I'm going to end this stream right here, and y'all can tap in and learn a little bit about Meta Nature. And I'll look for, I have an interview on Tri Media Saturday. I'm not even going to do my refuting Karimio stuff unless I'm off Sunday. If I'm off Sunday, I'm heating it back up Sunday. I'm coming for Karimio, no Diddy, and we're gonna handle business like that, like real G's. But yeah, man, community of skeptics, you gotta get rid of Cedric, man. He don't know what he talking about. Talk about people ain't doing no real research. Nah, you ain't doing no real research.
What I'm trying to say in the final analysis, once we take control of ourselves, we have to stop being imitators and be innovators. We realize we've got a continent 12 million square miles. Wherever our bodies are on the face of this earth, our cultural and political heartbeat is in Africa. Whether you ever go to Africa or not, that is your home, that is the home of your spirit, and that is the heart and meaning and definition of your commitment. And none of us, any place in the world, will be free until that continent is free.
The Mossy Warrior Clan was created because myself and others like Brother Nahisi saw a need for a young African group to analyze information concerning the African phenomenon with no bias, with rigor, and with scholarship. We created the Mossy Warrior Clan for the purpose of being an expert research team, of being a team that produced products, a team that was capable of producing products for African people globally to dispel myths, rumors, and provide them with accurate scholarship.